Hi! Welcome to another episode of Psych Digest. Last week, I've given you an overview about the difference between psychological testing and assessment. For this week, we're going to discuss 5 distinctions between them. Before we move on to our next topic, let's have a quick recap on what we've discussed last meeting. Last meeting, we've talked about the difference between testing and assessment. And we've defined testing as a tool or a device to measure psychology-related variables. On the other hand, psychological assessment is the process of gathering and integrating psychology-related data for the purpose of psychological evaluation. So, sa makatuwid, si testing, nasa ilalim siya or it belongs to a huge umbrella of psychological assessment. At para makagawa ka ng psychological assessment, gumagamit ka ng iba't ibang tool. Isa na nga dito yung testing, pwede rin ang behavioral observation, pwede rin case studies at interview. The first distinction is objectives or mga layunin. For testing, the objective is to measure an ability or an attribute. It's usually in a form of numbers. For example, you want to measure intelligence or let's say knowledge on a particular subject or course. Of course, you want to give them tests and it often yields numbers or scores. Nandyan yung 90 over 100, 50 over 50, and whatnot. On the other hand, the objective of assessment is to answer a referral question or to solve a problem. For example, a child came to seek the help of a professional because he or she has been having a hard time sleeping. So if you want to solve that problem, you might want to conduct an assessment rather than testing. Another objective of assessment is that through the use of tools of evaluation, you aim to arrive at a decision. For example, you want to determine whether an applicant is the best person for that particular job or position. So, you might want to conduct an assessment. The second distinction is process. Sa testing, ang process pwedeng individual, pwede rin by group. At madalas, tinitingnan mo lang kung ilan ang nakuha niyang tama at kung ilan ang nakuha niyang mali. And it has little regard on the mechanics or the content of the test itself. Sa assessment naman, or sa proseso ng assessment, madalas ito ay one-on-one. In contrast to testing, assessment focuses on the processes rather than simply the end result of the process. Or para mas madaling maintindihin, kung yung testing nakafocus sa right versus wrong or sa total scores mo sa isang test, ang assessment naman nakafocus sa kung paano ka nag-arrive dun sa sagot mo. Hindi siya nakafocus sa kung tama o mali yung sagot mo, nakafocus siya kung bakit at papaano naging yun yung sagot mo. The third distinction is the role of the evaluator. When it comes to testing, the tester is not a key to the process. Ibig sabihin, pwedeng palitan ang tester without affecting the result of the overall or of the entire evaluation. Sa assessment naman, the assessor is the key to the process. Bakit? Kasi siya yung magde-decide or magse-select sa mga battery of tests na iti-take ng isang client at siya rin ang magdodraw ng conclusion para makapag-come up sa isang evaluation. The fourth distinction is the skills of evaluator. Sa testing, it requires technician-like skills. Kailangan mo lang malaman kung paano mag-administer ng isang test, paano interpret ang result, at paano i-check ang mga ito. Sa assessment naman, it requires an educated selection of the tools. You should also have a skill of evaluation and a careful thought process and integration of data. The fifth distinction, last but not the least, is the outcome. Sa testing, kagaya ng sinabi natin sa objective, it yields a test score. Sa assessment naman, it requires a logical problem-solving skills. Bakit? Kasi para itong pieces of puzzles. Dahil marami kang sources of data or sources of information, pagtatagpi-tagpiin mo ito in order for you to shed light on the referral question. So again, the 5 distinctions between psychological testing and assessment are: number 1, objectives; number 2, the process; number 3, role of the evaluator; number 4, skills of the evaluator; and lastly, the outcome.